Today on the workbench, I've got a, this is a Proto 2000, and it is a U28B. This was a new old stock model, and I don't have all the details on it. I just pulled this out of the box. But what I want to put in this, I'm going to use one of the new LokSound V5 DCC cards in this, and this is the 21 pin. So with that, now something I've never done, I have one of these Decoder Buddies by Nick's Trains. So I want to see if this simplifies the installation any. And I don't have the decoder programmed yet. I just pulled it out of the box. But I thought this would be a good candidate for this. And, well, let's just dive into it and get started. To take this apart, I believe it's just these two screws here. I think that's all that is involved in. Yep. Okay. So there's our shell off. Go ahead and lay this off to the side. And I should get some good sound out of this because there are plenty of openings here. This mesh. The top's not open, but at least the sides are open, so like I say, we ought to get some really good sound out of this model. Let's see. Now, a lot of the Protos that I do, I end up putting the speaker, I'll use an 11 by 15 speaker in this, and I usually set them here. I don't know if I can do that or not in this model. I may have to take, they have two figures. I don't know if you can see the fireman there, or conductor. And then the engineer on that side. But I can probably pop those out. Well, actually, that won't matter. Yeah, I won't have to worry about that. So there will be a good place for that'll be a good place for the speaker. And let's see, let's go ahead and pop this board off. Now this, get this little tool here. This is really handy for popping chips off of boards. But that way you can get under both sides of it, and you can just pull straight up, and it comes right off. So you don't have to worry about bending your pins. So I'll go ahead and pull all these couplers off, or pry them off, I guess. Just kind of behind them there and pushing on them. So I'm really hoping that this Decoder Buddy will simplify this installation, maybe make it look a little neater. Won't have to worry about threading the wires through, or fewer wires through. So we'll lay that aside. let's go ahead and we'll pull our, get this stuff out of the way, pull our 2 screws that hold the board on. Pop the board right off, and we'll go ahead and put that back on there just to kind of keep everything a little neater. And I save these. I don't know how many of them I have, but just in case. And I'll show you this little tool again. So you've got your board right there. Slide that in there, and then just pull. And, I'll look that up here in a second, and I'll tell you what the name of it is. Let me put these back on. So there's that, and those are PLCC extractors is the name of that tool. I've got another one here too, and this one's a little smaller. Just kind of push on it. You can open it up and then just squeeze the sides and it'll pull your board right up. So kind of handy. Just another little thing for your toolbox. And I bought this. Yeah, I got it off of, I think I got these off of Amazon. But I'm just looking at it, and you know, a lot of things say made in USA or made in China. This says made in only you. So, anyway, just a little chuckle. All right, so we've got our lights, and these are 12-volt bulbs. Actually, I think I'll leave them on here. I'm looking at the front. I think I'll leave these for now. Really, this is just more about the Decoder Buddy than it is the lighting or anything. So, and I'm only going to get to put one screw in that. That'll be fine. But we've got, now I need to look at this because I've never done one of them. So let me turn it back around. We'll go ahead and put one of the screws in it just so I won't have to hold that. And this Decoder Buddy is not the version 5. this is one of the older ones. Maybe I can put a piece of double-sided tape in here. Hold that down. Now I'm not sure what the difference between the version 5 and this version is, but we could look that up online if we needed to. But so let's use our little tool here again. We'll pull this board off. They conveniently have it marked bottom. And this thing, you can only put this in one way. If you look, let me see if I can zoom in on this. On this board, here, there are 8 pins. And you can see that center section is out. So if you take your board off, this board, flip it over to where it says bottom, you'll see that there are 8, or let's see, 1, 2, 4, there are 9 holes. But that center one, right there where that T is, there's no hole. So this board can only go on one way. So you can't get that mixed up. So let's start the process of, now I'll turn my soldering iron on. And I am going to cut a piece of double-sided tape just so that won't move. Don't need to zoom in. Let me zoom back out. Pull this screw out. And Proto always does a good job, or did a good job. I'm sure Walther's, probably the design's the same. These motors are isolated, so we won't have to worry about taking the motor out and isolating it. I want to get a piece of double-sided tape. Cut this off. And I'll put it along the side. Get this thing started before I Okay. And then I'll put a piece over here. Stuck to my finger. Pull that out of the way. And then I'll have another piece up here. Okay. All right, so there's our Decoder Buddy installed. So we've got pickups, figure out which black wire is which here. May have to put my meter on that, because there's a black wire there for the motor pickup, or for the motor. Okay, it's that long one. That's what I was worried about. Okay. So this is a motor pickup. Or not motor pickup. It's not a motor pickup, it's the negative wire. Yeah, it's the bottom wire. So anyway, I don't want to get stuck on that. And then we have the red. Well, that'll go over there, so let me thread this through. And so on the instructions they have this first one up here labeled orange and this one labeled gray. So the way this is, this red wire is the gray wire. And then we'll try to put this through from underneath. And now we'll start our soldering. Flux that up a little on the board. Clean that off. there's that side. I want to pull this black wire back and run it up through like I did that one. So I can get that out of the way. So I've pulled the other motor wire out. I don't like those little stray wires. And I have my heat turned down. Trying to look at that. Okay. So now I'll push our motor wires back in here. And these are all lighting wires, so they'll be used on that 9-pin board or 10-pin board, whatever you want to say. Alright, so I've got this pickup. And the T is the pickups, or are the pickups. And we'll just keep them on the side that they naturally come from. Okay. Kind of confusing myself here, but there'll be enough flux on that to clean that. A little bit of solder there on that tip. there's that one. There's that one. Now for these front two, I am actually going to pull them back if I can. Pull this screw out. And lift this up. Because after looking at it, I don't need them all the way back there. So I can eliminate some wire. So I'll be able to cut this. I'll be able to cut that. See if I can strip this with my fingernails, and I can't. Let's see. Turn this around. Well, I've got that tinned, but I can't. Yeah. A little more solder here. Okay, there's that one. That'll get some flux on that. So our track pickups are in. Get that back underneath there. And I'll have to put another piece of tape on those when I get done. But so far, we've got our motor hooked up, got our track pickups in. Now the other thing I can do is hook up the speaker. So let me get that. I'll put you on pause here for a second. Okay, I found the speaker, and I actually put it in already. It's an 11 by 15, and it's an ESU speaker. And the reason I put it in is because I had to put RTV on it, and I set it in there already, just so I wouldn't have to fool with it. I'll have to make my connections, but other than that, I'll need to get this wire out of the way at some point so I can solder that in. And I think you can see that speaker there. So it fits nicely in there. But we'll have to take and solder a couple of wires to it. Go ahead and strip a little bit of wire here for this speaker. And I'm going to pull that out of the way, and I'll set that out of the way. And I may have to do this off camera, but these ESU speakers, let me zoom down on that. Okay. Looking at this right here where I've got the screwdriver, that's the positive side, and this is the negative side. So I think that I've got enough room, and I know these have, you can actually just clip those in there like that, and they're supposed to be good with that. I've never had any luck with that, so I'll take and solder this in. Little flux. Flux on both of them. There's that. And now I want just a little bit of flux on those connections. And I'm going to, instead of dripping that on there, that way I won't have it all over the place. Just kind of use one of those. Clean that tip off. Okay. And that'll give us a better connection on that. So let me just go pull that piece of tape completely off there. And then I want to run that, trying to run that underneath. So our speaker positive is over here. This is our speaker positive wire. So I can run that down in there. And I'll cut that off. Strip that. Some flux on that. Flux on the board. Bend that into some kind of a shape. Easier to work with. Kind of worked myself into a little jam here. There's that one. Then we'll get our negative hooked up. it up. I think I can get that one. Okay. Alright, so there is our speaker. Let me take and I want to clean that flux off that I had on there extra. This is just alcohol. Rubbing alcohol. I'll clean that off too while I'm at it. Okay, so there's our speakers, or our speaker. Now we are to the point of lights. And these are, they should, let me zoom back out. These should be 12 volt lights because they were set up for DC. So the way I'm going to check that, I got a 9-volt battery here. And wouldn't you know it, I can't see the crazy thing. Yep. I don't know if you can see that or not. But that is, that'll work with 12 volts. Now, I believe these decoder buddies are set up with resistors. And if that's the case, I won't get any I'll have very dim lights if that's the case. Now what I could do, I can put a resistor. Well, no, I don't want a resistor. I just need to wire up. I may have to get out one of my other manuals, and I know I've done it before, and I can't remember which side I hook to get the 12 volts. But I think I'm going to try it on this Decoder Buddy first. Just so we can say we've tried it and either had success or failed. So what I'm going to do is put this back on, because I've got the bottom board all hooked up. Now we are at a point where we'll be soldering our blues and whites. And this long pad, according to the instructions here, this long pad and this long pad are both positive common pads. And then these are the functions on this side. So I'm going to have 3 functions. I'll have this, let me move this back so you can see it. I'll have this bottom light so it'll be able to turn on independently. We'll have this one where it'll turn on independently. And then we'll have our rear light. Yeah, rear light and number boards. So it looks to me like this was for the rear light. This is for the front light. And then I can use, actually, I read that wrong. This is the rear light because you can see the OR. This is the front light. And then we'll have functions, and it's a small. I think this is function 4, function 6. So there's 2. So the way I'm going to hook this up, we'll start over here with our rear. This will be the rear. So I want to try one before I do all of them. Well, I may just do all of them and then hope for the best. So we'll go with that first. And then so our blue on these is the positive. So I'm going to put that there. Get this tinned up a little bit. I need to turn this around, or I'm not doing it left-handed. Yeah. I need to trim that off. That looks horrible. Put some flux on it and then solder it. Okay. Now I'll trim that off. Okay. I'm just trying to get my wires maneuvered around here. These blue ones won't be too bad because they can go right in this board. Let me pull that back up off of there for a second. And actually I want to check these and see where it goes. And I'm just using this 9-volt battery. Crazy wires aren't long enough. Okay, so that's the bottom. Okay, these two go together. Those two I'll put over there for right now. See if I can't thread that through one of them holes As you can see, kind of struggling here a little bit. And I know I'm making this harder than what it should be. Yeah, I didn't like that. Okay. Let's go about this a different way. I'm going to flux these, get some solder on them. That way they'll be a little easier to work with. Maybe this will make it easier. Nope. Okay, so I got that one through. Trim that off. I wonder if I can get this one through without soldering it or tinning it up. I think I've got solder on it. I won't. Okay. So this was my bottom light. We'll put it over here on A1. And then this is the forward headlight, or front headlight. So let's see what we can do with this. Trim that off some. way I should have been doing those in the first place. Just put them down through the top. So that is all of our wiring. Get this organized back in here a little better. And we'll take a piece of black tape and put over that. So right now, the way this is sitting, we are ready to put the decoder in. Another piece of tape there to hold that side down. Now, with the decoder, these two brown wires that are coming off of this decoder are for the speaker. I won't need those, I don't think. I'm going to leave them on there for right now, in case I have to change something. But well, let's see. I can plug this in. That's going to be the finished result right there. Nice, simple, clean. Now I don't have this programmed to any particular thing right now, and I don't think they come with anything in them. But we're going to stick this thing up on the track. Make sure that's down. So let me move some stuff around here. And we'll try this thing out. Actually, it says generic sound on the box, so maybe there is a sound on this. Let me pull my test track out here. Zoom the rest of the way out. Okay. So, turn this overhead light off. Actually, let me turn that one off. And then turn the brightness down on that. Really what I want to be able to, for you to see, is the lights when they come on. So Let me get my system hooked up. Alright, I've got the system hooked up. I'm not showing any shorts, so that's always a plus. And this should be set to Loco 3. I'm not sure what just happened there. My wires came off of my... I still wasn't showing any shorts or anything. So I do have my front headlight. I've got my motor wires hooked up wrong. So it does have a sound. There's my bottom light. So we do have some movement and sound. Don't have any bell. I'm not sure why I don't have a reverse light. But actually, okay, looks like I need to do a little maneuvering here. But for now, we have the gist of it. So let me pull this off of here. Move that back. Turn the light back on. So I'll change my wires here. Pull this board up and off. Turn the soldering iron back on. Let it heat up. See if I can thread these back up through the bottom. Here we go again. Okay. There's my forward and reverse. That should take care of that problem. So I'll pull that back out. And so we've got our headlight. And then we've got our bottom light here. Let me turn that overhead light off. Okay, so that's that. Turn that off. That rear light's not working. At least for right now, the motion is correct. So I just had two wires messed up on that. And I pull that. So I'm going to have to troubleshoot the backlight and see what it is. Unless I'm just not using the right, there may be some function I'm not using. but I'm not sure. Okay, so I'm going to have to program this into something, and I'll look that up just to make sure I get that right, the motor for this. But I will look into the rear light. So I'm going to turn this off right here. Does it make things easier, the Decoder Buddy? I think it does. If you have a lot of lighting functions, it'll be a really good thing with a lot of lighting functions. Did I make it more complicated than it needed to be? Probably. Just the way I was trying to do some things. And I'll get better at that. So let me get this programmed and work on that rear light, and then we'll go from there. I'll bring you back when we're almost done. Okay, wasn't real happy with the lights that come in this locomotive. They're not really bright enough, I don't think, and they're not LEDs. So I am going to upgrade these to an LED bulb. Yeah, they're a 3mm, 3mm. Let's see, soft white. So let me show you that. It's a soft white bulb. Those will go right in, and then I'm going to change all of these out. So let's go ahead and get started here. Put this away. So I'm going to use this first one. I'm going to put in is going to be our rear light, so I can cut this off, make it a little easier to work with. Cut the leads off. I'll go ahead and strip this. I wish these had a little smaller wire on them, but hey, you get what you pay for, I guess. And I bought these off of, I think these were off of Amazon for what, 20 of them, maybe $6. So I really can't complain about the price. But, all right. Well, tangled up over here. Okay. Get out the little helping hand there. Little flux. pin that up. Okay. And on this board, the positive is the long strip in the center. I'll go ahead and put it down in that hole. Yeah. Missed what I was doing there. Yeah, I'm not happy with that. Okay. So there's that. I want to try that and see how bright that is before I add any more. So let me just put it up here on the, just to test that out. And I know you can't see that, but we'll just be a second here. Let that fire up. Okay, that's not too awful bad. You'll get to see the finished product here when I get done, but they're not going to be super bright, so it won't be overpowering, but it'll be a nice warm light. So I'm going to have to put that, I need to push it back a little bit. Actually, I better wait on that because I want to change these front ones out also. I may end up being in my own way there. And I think what I'll do, since I've got the wire run back through, I may just change out Since this is a little thicker wire that I'm not really liking real well, yeah, let me do this. Get that on there and in. This goes over top like that, so we don't get any bleed through. I'll put a piece of tape on that because the plastic broke on that. And I put it too far back, or too far forward, I mean. There, that'll keep that down in there. This crazy chair squeaks to beat all. I'm going to change that out. So what I'll do, cut this off. About there. Then I can go ahead and strip these off. Get these all fluxed and tinned up. So that's that. Also need to get some shrink tubing here. So I can cover these little joints up. My shrink tubing is the size of the casing. Just barely fits. But at least it'll be a good, nice tight fit on there. Alright, so our blue is our positive. Nope, I never. Didn't finish fluxing those, did I? I knew that was going to happen. Okay, so there's that. Now let's see if I can get my shrink tubing. There we go. I'll set this up here and check it. Okay. Now, cut this one off. Next time I get some of these, I'll look for something with a smaller wire. Or I'll just get the bulbs themselves and solder my own wires to them. These tinned up. Then we'll have our bulb installation complete. And then we can get our wires all tucked in and everything, and we'll be done with this. Heat shrink tubing on here. I will say there is a lot of room in this locomotive for things. Really surprised me. So now before I plug that one in or move it around, so we've got our okay, all the lights are working now. So let me go back out on this. We'll get this all tucked back in here neatly. Kind of neatly. I'll turn this off for a minute. Okay, so we've got our wires all, lights all in, wires all tucked in. Now we'll put the shell on it, and I'll set you up and you'll be able to see this thing. Alright, we've got this finished up here, and you can see I added the front snow plow, and I changed the couplers out, put KDs in it. So let's fire this thing up and you can listen to it. It is set up that bottom set of lights will flash when the horn's blown. Kind of ramp it up there a little bit. This does have the drive hold feature on it. I've got this set at speed step 4 right now. You can hear the motor increase as I'm increasing the speed steps. And the speed isn't changing. So we're about halfway through the speed steps there, 17, 18. I'll kind of ramp it down here. I think it does have a pretty nice sound to it. And release the drive hold. Get it stopped. I think the new LEDs made a big difference in it. They look a little better to me. A little whiter instead of that orangish yellow. But I'll turn those off. Shut the sound off. Here, go through its shutdown. So we'll call this one complete. Thanks for watching.